Like, oh, Frank, you'll get it later. All right, everybody. It says, welcome to Daytime Today's soap hosts or host of soap podcast. I named it. I can't remember what the fuck it is. But we're here tonight as the inaugural night to do Roundtable, where I talk to various soap podcast hosts about the soaps. Say that 5 times fast or don't. It says, welcome to Daytime Today. Shut up, James. Soap hosts. No, quiet. Quiet. There you go. There's a subpar stuff happening right now. I'm James Lott Jr., and this is JLJ Media, of course. And I have the first of many. We've done a bunch of these. They're the first. And, of course, you recognize all their faces. Most of you recognize all their faces. We're going to start with Matthew Theall, of course. He's from the 10th Floor podcast. They do several shows over there. Hi, Matthew.
Hello. Hi. Hey, it's me.
It's you.
It's me. Hello.
He's also all over JLG Media too. He's on a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, my voice is on it. I'm sometimes the nice guy and sometimes the one that maybe isn't so nice, and we're gonna figure that out later.
Yes. Fairview Heights City Hall is out now. Every Friday, new episodes. And he's you blur the lines in that episode show.
Just watch all the way, listen through all the way to the end and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. So
yes,
stay tuned and listen to every episode along the way.
Yes, please do. Of course, the top, she joined me on the Bold Breakdown back in 2017 at AfterBuzz TV, which is dead. But she stayed with me.
It was on hiatus.
Yes, on hiatus still. That's right, for summer. She's Tami Goveia. Hi, Tami Goveia.
Hello, James. Thank you for having us.
I love it. She does Wide Are Bold Beautiful and Voices of Daytime. Ooh, the chat's coming in. Yeah, come on in, chat. And of course, my most successful male relationship, the longest. I say it all the time. From the old days to new, it is your favorite curmudgeon. Right,
yeah. Wow. It touched it warmed my dead heart just a little.
I knew it would. And of course, he does GH3 Spotlight with me. And of course, all the Star Wars stuff. So you can always check us out. And sometimes just like Starbucks, we just hang out and that's what we do. Trying to things. But everybody come into the chat. It's wonderful. As you're coming in, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're a new person comes to the chat, you're like, I want to check this guy out. What's going on with these people? But if you're already a subscriber, hit that like button, of course. It helps us get more into the algorithms, a word I never thought I have to use my entire life. But just do that. I see Devin and John and Nathan. I see I'm going to get Janae. You guys are in here. We'll be talking about soap stuff. So this is the first of many soap host podcast. God, cheese and crackers. Soap host podcast people, whatever the fuck they are. We're going to do a bunch of these. Tomorrow night, same time, same channel. It's the girls from GH Sunday Shift, Tanya and Tracy, and Soap's Big Mouth, Candace Mack. They'll be joining me tomorrow night for our roundtable. I'm sure that'll be something to watch. That's tomorrow night. And I'm working on some others too, so folks, trust me. People you know will be coming on here to talk soaps. We're very excited. Very, very excited. Do that.
Can I just say real quick before I know we dive into full soaps is that it is amazing to be able to see Tami. I mean, I see you on my TV all the time in your wizarding robe. So cool.
You've got to see this.
Yes. It's amazing. I love it every time it comes on. So very cool. I was so excited to see you on that, Tami.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, it comes on. I see it all the time too. I still see it. They show it all the time.
Ones are real.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a clue. I was just playing along.
Yeah, tell them a little bit, just kind of what you do. It's great.
You need to watch commercials more often. There's still a thing, apparently.
Yes. Tami plays a sexy grandmother for the Orlando Worlds of Wisdom. There's like several parks. She's the one for Harry Potter.
Okay.
She's literally, seriously, all through the commercial.
Well, I'm going to stop skipping the commercial break so I can make sure I catch this at some point.
You'll see her go, oh my God, that's Tami. Hi, Brandon Larkins. How are you, buddy? You'll totally see her. It's hilarious. Yeah, she's commercial. And that's a shout out to actually to my chocolate twin and former co-host and Tami's former co-host, Tony Moore, his show Drag House Rules got a second season. So congratulations. It's a real job. It's like a real show. So I'm very happy for him. I'm like, that's good. It's got second season. So congratulations on that.
That's so great.
Support our fellow hosts. We're going to get big
Yeah.
gigs like that. If you ever see season 1, he looks really good. The suit said he looks really right there. He looks really good. You see him?
He actually looks like he knows what he's doing.
yes, yes, he does.
So kudos to him for the acting job.
Frank's just like, okay, yeah, but you'll get it when you watch it. He's not. Tony's not offended at all. He knows what's going on. So shout out to him. Shout out to him for that. Okay, gentlemen, welcome to our first roundtable. Like I said, the questions are very specific. And I'm going to start first. Do you censor yourself in your online reviews now that you are a podcast host? Where wants to start first with that? I am curious. I know I don't. I'm just curious if anybody else does.
No, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I don't even, we all know I don't even look at the chat while we're doing stuff. I have no idea. I have no idea what people think of the show we do. I have no idea. So I just speak what I feel, and there you go.
No, I get it. He's the talent. That's
That's right.
he just shows up. He's the talent.
Be on time, know the text, have an idea.
Boom.
I like that.
Like for me, when it comes, I know, but I also am one of the easiest fans out there to please. It's really challenging for me to sit here and go, this is hot garbage and I hate it. So generally speaking, my online reviews, whether or not I had a podcast, is going to be about what I like far more often than what I'm not enjoying.
Okay. Tami Goveia.
I will say, sometimes the stories or the characters can get me a little riled up. And I am more conscious now of not swearing as much. Because it really doesn't get the point across. It feels good in the moment, but it really doesn't get the point across. I really want to be able to articulate exactly why I loathe Ridge Forrester so much. And the F word or what have you feels good to say it, but it's a practice in just articulating my thoughts a little bit more. Beyond that, no. I mean, that's why we do the shows, to say what we think and how we feel. So
the chat says we love it, Frank.
Pardon?
The chat says we love it, Frank.
No, nice.
Well,
Plus, I feel like that's why people want to listen, and I think resonate with different reviewers for whatever it is, whether it's soaps or films, TV shows, comic books, animation, is that you just want to hear an authentic voice. And if you feel like it's somebody that's hedging their bets or just kind of catering their views to elicit a certain type of response, then I feel like it kind of just it kind of feels obvious, and I feel like that it's hard to gain traction that way.
it's very flat.
Mhm.
And you can tell it's flat.
I'll admit to not talking about something because I just don't want to deal with the response or with the people. Like I avoided the Sabrina hashtag like it was the disease. Like I just didn't talk about that couple. I didn't react to them, even if I was enjoying it or not liking it or anything. I just contributed nothing to the conversation because I did not want to deal.
Matt, I will give you props. You engage with on social media with soap fans on stuff. I've never had the inclination to engage in on any like maybe like about a comic book cover or a comic book artist. I might say like a storyline I might like, but I've never engaged in any of the like the critical stuff about TV shows, films, soaps, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that, I see just a lot of people being wrong about things, and I don't mean to be hateful with that statement. They just misunderstand, or they're putting their own feeling into it, or they're guessing as to what might have gone on. And I'm a little more plugged in into why things happen and why decisions are made. And I feel like since I know, I should contribute. I should try to get people to understand that it's not just Frank Valentini sitting on his throne, being a dictator over the entire show, making it so this character said this one word that I hate. It's just, sometimes it's so extreme that I feel like I should just kind of throw a little quarter in there. And if it gets too nuts, then I'm done. I'll walk away. I'm not, I don't keep going. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
Do you
used
feel, do you feel fans are receptive to that? Because I always
Some,
feel like some just people just want to just be
mhm.
negative to be negative, and no matter what fact-based response you may have, they're like, no.
I think that I've been doing it long enough now that I can tell if somebody's just being hateful for the fact that they want the engagement and to be hateful versus somebody who's just a little off. And a lot of it has to do with whether or not they're following my channel or my Twitter because we didn't mean to curate an audience, but it sort of was curated based off of how we reacted to the show and what we didn't really want to engage with in the chat and how Chandra, our wonderful moderator, will mute somebody who's being too much. And so we just don't have those kinds of people, no offense, uh, following us on a regular basis. So I'll check. I'll see if they're a follower. I'll see how many followers they have. I'll see maybe their top tweets that are in their timeline to see what kind of person that they are online. And I try to use that as a basis. I can't say that I'm sitting there like scrolling this at all times of the hours and doing this deep research every time. I step in it. I step in it a lot because I engage. I think Lisa Ann Walter and I might be mortal enemies.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I know she's mouth. I can find out for you.
I'm sure she has no idea who I am.
Well, Lisa, if you ask Lisa, she knows about Matthew Theall. Right? So I just want real quick. We have a super chat. Thank you, Terrence Matthews. And we'll talk about this. And yeah, I will read. Because I read the questions because the super chat. But we're going to answer this on Sunday. Both our shows will answer this on Sunday. But what does Brooklyn think she's doing? The whole Brit situation is not the same thing at all. I was shocked when they opened the thing. I was like, oh, it's to that storyline. So, but I'm sure 10-4 GH and GH Respawn will be talking about that this Sunday. We each will talk about this Sunday at our respective times. Watch our show. Just kidding. No,
you can watch them independently of each other. You watch mine and then go tune into
oh,
his. It's
I'm
done.
sorry. Did I say that? I'm sorry. No. It's pretty funny. Of course, watch their show too if you have to. No, here's my next question. Here's a follow-up question. Here's a follow-up question for you, Matt, because Frank doesn't. We're known as Shady Sunday. We've been doing that since AfterBuzz TV. That's our kind of our thing. We're very snarky and funny. We say all crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, I hear it from other people. They consider you guys the goody two shoes, so to speak, of the podcast world. Because I remember when you were out there, you were like, we don't do certain, like, there's some things that we don't do either. But like, there's like certain things you're like, I don't do these certain. You don't attack people. You're like, there's certain things you don't do. It's like your audience at first was trying to get you to attack people. But it's like you guys are not. So so when I say that I've heard that, what does that say to you?
I mean, it's mostly more of our personality types more than something that we tried to do. We wanted to really, gosh, it was tough because it's tough to explain. We just wanted to talk about the soap opera because we talked about the soap opera in our regular life. It took us an hour and a half to get through General Hospital every day because we'd pause it all the dang time. So like we'd pause it and discuss it and this, that, and oh, what a great acting choice and this, the blah, 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 blah. And then mom was like, podcasts are a thing, Matt, we should do this. And so we did. And it was just a natural progression of a regular conversation, which wasn't how much we hated the show, but how much we were enjoying watching it together. And so that's what carried forward into the podcast. And we got started just before the pandemic, like weeks just before General Hospital shut down for the pandemic. So we ran out of new things to talk about because the show started to go into reruns. And that sort of fed into how we presented the podcast afterward. That's where we really found our identity in the conversation.
I found you then.
Mhm.
And I heard you guys, and I liked you guys. I liked the whole mother son. I thought I was very jealous.
Because we didn't.
I'm serious because
Yeah. Oh.
I have this twin mother looks just like me, and she
Mhm.
won't do any television. I thought, God, this mother and son, which is probably representative of a lot of mothers and sons and grandmothers and grandsons stuff. You get to do it with your mother every week. You get to do this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean, it's the greatest excuse in the world to call your mom every week. So I'm just gonna keep
Man.
going with it. So, anyway, to make my long diatribe much shorter, that's the pandemic made us stop doing recap and started getting into just more conversation, free flow conversation about the show because we were talking about old nurses' balls and Jason getting hit, bashing his head on the rock, and all sorts of stuff that was historical GH, but we didn't have new content to talk about. So it really it informed who we were as people, and we never engaged with television or anything that we were doing from what we didn't like about it. That's just never how we've done things.
Okay, stop right there a second. Again, another super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. From Autumn McCaddy. You're on Autumn. Hey guys, when are you going to kill Drew off already? This thing's getting ridiculous. Al, Portia, and Nina brought this blackmail on themselves. All Nisha, that's her name. All Nina and Portia have to do is tell the truth. Again, watch either our shows on Sunday. We'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Thank you very much. It's very fun. I saw today's episode, so I know what you're talking about. I want to piggyback off of that because for Frank and I don't know if you remember this, Frank, this is our 10th season. Right before we started, we were debuting. Oh, Lousy Tony is in the chat. Go away, Tony. This is not for you. No need to. It's fine. No, but before our first week started, remember Nancy Grahn stepped her mouth in it when Viola Davis won the Emmy and had that famous equality speech. And I love Nancy, but she had to open her mouth about, well, all women, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, girl, nobody say anything. And so I remember fans were like, are you guys going to talk about it? And at the time, we had Ladine, who was a Black woman and actress. We had Lucretia, you and I, and we chose to talk about it. We didn't do it. We didn't go very long. We didn't go crazy. We just kind of, okay, sorry, come on, my phone. We started really just kind of talking about it a little bit at the beginning, and then we went into our show. But it was one of those things we had to choose, kind of like, do we say something? But it was a big enough story that we thought, what's our first week? Might as well show where we stand. And we did that, Frank. I remember we did that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you should be able to talk about stuff. Hopefully, you've done your due diligence and at least have an kind of.
That's Tony. Tony said he's going to do something. Oh my God! We cut off Frank. Sorry, go ahead, Frank, and start again, please. Like that's what Tony said. Cut off your Wi-Fi. That's what he said. You cut off Frank's Wi-Fi, not mine. Okay, great. Go ahead, Frank. What are you saying?
No, I was just saying. Hopefully, I think it's great if you want to talk about real life stuff that kind of bleeds into the soaps and stuff. As long as you're doing it like with an informed opinion about that.
Yeah. And we listen, it's not like, okay, we are goody two shoes, sure, because we talk more positive things about it than negative things. But if you listen to us on a regular basis, you're going to know what I think. Like I talked for 20 minutes about Jonathan Jackson. I readily said he was bored, hated being there. The story was lame. He didn't wipe down the counter, and so he found his opportunity to leave. Like, that's not the most positive thing in the world to say, but I said it on my podcast.
I love that.
Do you and who knows? I guess if he was commuting from Tennessee, how much that affects what the show writes, I don't know. It was amazing to me that he was on there for that 9 months and they just could not generate any kind of exciting storyline for him.
Was it really 9 months?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember Africa? That was first.
Oh yeah. It just doesn't seem like 9 months.
It was
I mean, that was half of the 9 months.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, they should have stayed there.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to get too deep into the show or anything, but they got Isaiah and Sidwell and everybody there, and he's working at Kelly's or working at the bar. It was stupid. Anyway.
But no, but that's the point. So, but this leads into, because I did a whole show on this show about what they did, what they could have did with Jonathan Jackson. So you can watch that on this channel. But it leads into the question for you guys, because we are soap hosts, and the three of us are in California. We're in the Los Angeles area. We have some advantages of than some other soap podcast hosts. We know some about the business. We know some behind the scenes. Well, I know I think I probably know the most, but all three of you guys have gone to some of the events. You know some of the people. Does that inform how you do a show also? Because you kind of know, you kind of talked about it a little bit, Matt, already. You kind of said, because it's not just Frank going off with your head and off with it. Like, it's not, you say there's more to it than when you watch on TV. So for any of you guys, does that change any way how you look at certain things when you do the shows?
I mean, I think so. I mean, at least for me, it's like having worked behind the scenes on that stuff. You understand just all of the various plates you got to keep spinning to keep a production going, and that there are many reasons why things get changed and altered and what your best intentions are in the script stage may change by the time you get to the
Hmm.
editing room. Things change all the time. So I feel like, yes, I have a much more when I do hear people complain about that stuff, it's easier to see it when you have more experience in the medium to know why things may be as difficult to achieve as you would like.
And I feel very fortunate as you do, Frank, because we're able to see the bigger picture that when fans get super passionate and they can kind of go off the rails and then obviously there's the extreme of, fans attacking talent in the show in just an unacceptable way. I feel very fortunate that we can come into this and not get emotionally drawn into that negative stuff because there's no reason to. There's no reason to. And it just supports and validates what we already know, that the fact that they can get these shows done is magic. They're well-oiled machines, that the talent, both in front of and behind behind the camera, is bar none some of the best in the business. And when we do have the opportunity to chat with folks in person, I've been very fortunate in that I honestly have never had a negative experience with anyone. If I did, I certainly wouldn't say so.
Oh, I have.
It's not,
You know I have. I run my mouth. You know I have.
you do, but that's, that we balance each other out there.
We do.
Um, but everyone just is just such gold. It's just been such an amazing opportunity to do these shows and then to be able to, do a carpet or, a
Hmm.
book signing, with James while he's hosting and moderating a book signing with Sean Kanan. It's just been so much fun and it absolutely informs what I bring to the table as a host. Absolutely.
I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like the act of creation is just difficult no matter what it is, whether it's making a dinner, throwing a party, getting together with friends on a weekend.
Yep.
There's just so many things that change and happen. You have to pivot and flux, and it's a smaller scale of what it is to create like a TV show. There's just so many moving pieces that, sometimes with your best intentions, when you get to the end, it's not quite what you wanted. Maybe it's something as good, maybe it's something a little better than you hoped, maybe it's something a little less, but at the end, the important thing is you actually made something, which I feel like that's the best thing, is a lot of people want to make something and never
Hmm.
actually do. But
Hmm.
it's always
Hmm.
cool when
Well, you
somebody
know what?
makes.
You know what's so funny? So I will say, I wish fans had a chance to maybe meet some of the people or see behind the scenes more. And I think they would get a better understanding. I mean, there's people who are extremes on any side, right? Of course, but I think a majority of fans just don't know. And I know I've done interviews over the years where someone goes, that person changed my mind because we saw them as you saw them as a person. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but right, but it's like it happens. I go, wow, I mean, I like the character, but I kind of like the person. I see what they're doing. Like, you meet people. So when you get to go down to a level, like when we go to the Emmys and we do the interviews and stuff, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, I remember my Kelly Monaco interview, which was my most famous out there
So
because she
good.
was. I mean, it was like 3 minutes of pure honesty. I mean, she was just like, "Yeah, I've been stale sometimes on the set. I don't mind." I mean, and people loved it. I mean, because she was being herself, actually.
Hmm.
And we were fine. We had a great time together. She looked beautiful too. But it's just kind of, but it's like it was so like I wish fans could see more of the behind the scenes stuff and know kind of what we see, and maybe that would change some people's ideas. Maybe some people won't change at all, but I just think that I'm glad I get to see some of the stuff behind the scenes.
I
Um,
think, if I may, I think that having thinking about things from a logical mindset is also very helpful too. Really, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of people that work. Just look at the credits. Just look at the credits. You can see that there's a lot of people that contribute their time and energy into putting the shows together. And that all means that the buck isn't necessarily going to stop in one place or have one person to blame or one king of all the hills and all of this nonsense that people fall into. And then for me, when it comes to like informing podcasting and whatnot, I've always been a fan of storytelling, a passionate fan of great storytelling. And I think that soap opera is one of the most unique mediums for really great, compelling, long-term storytelling. And from that, I've always just given a lot of grace and patience and tried to appreciate the art that they're putting together because this isn't a documentary about people's lives.
Right. But I like with Frank, especially, because my brother is a super comic book fan, like super fan. For him, why he likes soaps and comics, because you can tell good story in comics too. And as you know, I read all the Star Wars stuff, the books and everything. And in graphic novels, you can tell a really good story. So we're kind of conditioned also about fans. We know that anybody can read that book or that comic and have 10 different reactions. Same with a soap opera. And well, you know, for wrestling too. Same. I mean, like you can watch a match 10 different ways from Sunday and have 10 different. So I think that kind of helps all of us, especially. Not about you, Frank, I know you're a comic guy. But you work at Marvel, you're a comic guy, you do the whole thing. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, and there's, I mean, I think everybody, I mean, I like to operate or have the belief that everybody's operating in good faith, where they're trying to put together the best product they can be, whether it's a comic book or it's a movie, it's a TV show, soap opera. Uh, but there's so many things that come up, real life issues, budgetary issues, uh, actors, availability, deaths in the family, illnesses, locations falling through that, there's so many things that can potentially happen to get to the end. And you just have to pivot and accommodate as best as possible.
In the chat, thank you to the 33 people who are watching. I love you guys. Brandon Larkins, build it, they will come. DG says the problem with TV is that the artists, writers, producers, actors can be at odds with the business and the network executives. Okay. SF says that's a great point. I don't think anyone sets out to make a bad soap or episode. Sometimes we don't hit the mark, and that's all right. Fans don't realize this is a business. Producing a show is hard. Staying afloat in this business is hard. I, for one, am appreciative of everyone who set out to produce something for us. I agree with all that too. But it's a miracle anything gets produced these days anymore. So, but I want to change tone all of a sudden. Let's have a little fun, kids.
Ooh,
A little fun, kids. I want to ask you, the three of you, who is a national treasure on your soap opera?
James Lott Jr.?
Why, thank you. Thank you. Why, thank you.
Frank, you took my answer.
I, for one, I will say on GH is Jane Elliott. I think she's a national treasure who needs to be protected at all costs. And I'm so glad that they brought her back and decided to use her. And I'm so glad they decided to use her in many different ways. She has chemistry with every single person on the canvas. I just think that there's some people that just are at ease. They're just so, and she's such a recognizable character, which she's built over the last 40 years. She's done other soap operas, and she was good on those too. She has an Emmy winner. But I would say Jane, right now to me, Jane Elliott is one of the national treasures on General Hospital. So now it's you guys.
Well, I'll definitely agree with that, but I'll also add that I appreciate that her demographic is being celebrated and spotlighted and seen as an unapologetic woman in television. I'm not going to just box her into soap operas. You know, she's a fierce, Tracy's fierce. And I love that she doesn't apologize for her decisions and what she says and what she does. And when she does apologize as a character, there's such grace. And that's got to come from who Jane is. There's just a grace that she carries so beautifully. So yeah.
And there was a scene that she had with Brooklyn maybe like a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, but where she just talked about like the cost of being like that. And I like that that's
Brooklyn was going to the dark side for like a half a second.
Yes.
She's like, let me reel you back in.
I just appreciated just the self-awareness where it's like, yes, Tracy chooses to act like that, but also is cognizant that there are things that come with that sort of behavior as well.
6 bad marriages or 5.5, whatever it was.
Yes. The chat, they're mentioning Jane Elliott, Deidre Hall, Molly Thomas Scott. So so Matt, who is somebody you think is a
see, this is tough.
You do several shows. So
I know I do so many. So, I feel like I need to. It's so easy to pick the General Hospital one because they just like no offense to the other soaps. It's so easy to pick the great stuff about that one. Um,
I
uh,
agree. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Come back to me, old Pat.
that. Well,
Stevie Nichols, old
name,
Patchy. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna name somebody while you're thinking. So another person who me and Tami Goveia know personally is Catherine Kelly Lang on Bold and Beautiful. She spins shit into gold every week for the last 38 years. I told her that. I told her to her face. I said, "You spin shit into gold." She laughed so hard. And we know her. We've had her on our show. We've talked. We've interviewed her. Been to her store, Ben Hart's, which is in little Semi Boulevard in Beverly Hills.
They
Um,
closed.
they closed. When did
Closed.
they close? Well, we'll talk later. I did not know that.
Closed.
I did not know that. So
You can
okay,
still get, you can still shop online,
online. We'll
but
go to
the
Ben
bricks
Hart,
and
I guess,
mortars
online.
closed.
Oh, okay. So see, got some news here on Daytime Today. I did not know that. I have to send my condolences to them. That's not good. But I think still for her, she is. And this week they brought back Jack Wagner after all these years. They brought him back on the show, and the chemistry is there. And I tell you, she is. She gives a thousand, whether you like Brooke or not, the character, she gives it 1,000%. And she's only one of two original cast members still on the show, her and John McCook.
How'd you like seeing Jack Wagner back, Tammy?
Well, when it was announced, I texted you, James. I blew up your phone. And, driving to work, and I went on YouTube and blasted All I Need, and
Oh,
top of my lungs, and I don't know, 15 years old again or whatever it was. I'm just so thrilled. I'm just so thrilled. And I
they've
saw
already they've already kissed already.
I know. And
like
it's
so
so
fast.
perfect because that's exactly what would happen to Brooke.
Yes.
Waste any time taking
There's no
admiration
time.
from someone who really appreciates
I'm
her.
like, wow.
Yes. And
Yeah,
it
I was
was a
shocked.
good
It
kiss.
was a good kiss too.
There was nothing awkward about it. It was a good one. Anyway, so you can tell. It's just ecstatic.
She was giddy, Frank. She was very giddy. And folks, I'm a Hardy. He's on a show called When Cost a Heart. They just finished their 12th season, kids. They come back for their 13th. So he plays my favorite character, Bill Avery. So he really plays, but I like seeing him back on Bold and Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
I mean, I think for any soap, or if you're passionate about a character, a fan of a character, when they do return, you want them to have cool moments, a cool story, a cool reason for being there for however long of a time they are. So I'm glad that Jack Wagner's return is hitting those buttons for you, Tammy. I mean, that's why I feel like Jonathan Jackson, for me, I was excited to see him back, and it just fell flat. So
Expectations were so high for Jonathan. I wanted so much more. It makes me so sad. And I said this to James because one of the things you live for as a soap opera fan are the flashbacks. You just love them.
mhm.
Someone comes back and you want those flashbacks. And now with him gone, and if it's good, there's going to be a recap. I mean, who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean nothing. I mean when Laura pulls out Lucky's little photo from when he was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, that's just great.
Yeah.
That's just great.
Yeah.
And today yesterday showed Brooke and Jack Wagner flashbacks.
Amazing. He's singing to her and on the rowboat and kissing as the sun's going down in the boat. I was dying.
I said flashbacks in the back.
Dying.
That's sweet.
Hey, back
That's
to Matt
sweet.
again first. You
I
gotta
figured it out. I figured
You had long enough, Matt.
I'm
Come
going to
on.
pick somebody that I do not want to be without on a soap for the rest of the time that I'm watching them. And it doesn't have to be on the soap that they're on now. They can be on any soap. They can find a job elsewhere. I just want them to be in my soap life
Ooh, okay.
forever.
Ooh,
And that man is Van Hansis.
Oh,
He
man.
is the finest, not like, ooh, how sexy, but like the finest daytime actor I think I've ever seen. Holy shit. I'm like, oh my God. I am blown away every time this man is on screen. Every single conversation he has, every relationship he sells, everything. I am 100% in Van Hansis's corner. I will watch what he does forever.
So Matt, I did the first Spectrum Celebrity event with Van
Mhm.
Hansen's.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it was when I met him, he was so sweet. And I said, I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm gonna fangirl. Before we started, I got to fangirl first.
Yeah.
I was a huge Luke and actually and Reed fan. He goes, "Oh my God, I like Reed too." I was like, it was a whole Astral turns. I mean, yeah, no, it was fine. But I said the Reed thing goes, yeah, we got it. He talked about it so happy, but he's one of the nicest. Now we're following each other. But I
Oh,
agree with you.
great.
I think he's again, it's not about the looks or anything. He's good looking. It's not
Of
about
course.
that.
Of course.
But it's just like he's a good Lucas. He just came right on in.
He could have
Like
been
Morrow.
anybody. And I would have been like, who is this guy? This is amazing. Absolutely. More scenes with him.
Yes, I agree with that. See, I like to see. We waited, Frank. He gave us a good answer. He gave us a passionate answer, Frank. Passionate answer. My next thing is we should do some fun. Okay, so is there a character you feel is being? Oh, they all Crew Morrow. Yeah, he's hot too, Devin. You know we like Crew Morrow. Ooh, he's like his father. Oh my goodness. Takes after his daddy on John Young and the Restless. Yes, we do love him. Okay, back to my question. Oh, is there a character you're just like, come on, folks, let's give her a story or give him a story on one of your shows? I just feel like just criminally underrated. It's just not getting enough time. If you want me to start, I can start first. You want me to start? I really, really feel like poor Becky Hurst on GH. I'm sorry, what's GH? I feel like they stick her with the shittiest storylines. And this actress is so good. First of all, we know she can act. And she has history with everybody on the show. And she doesn't age. Looks the same as she did when she was like 15. Looks the same. And I feel like
James,
they need to give her something.
Thank you.
I know, seriously. I love her. I'm sorry. I love her. I wish they fired her once. The fans got her back. I just feel like the whole Finn stuff was wrong. Everything was. The Franco stuff was just starting to get good, and they killed him off. I just feel like there's so much there to mine from her, and that she's up for the task. And the Lucky thing makes me sadder. It makes me. And then, but there's Rick. Will they give her? And I mean, like, there's so much there. There's so much there. I know Liaison fans, you want her and Jason. That's not going to happen. But there is Rick there, who's another national treasure, also. But anyway, that's kind of.
And Mike Lee Knight. And I mean, the list could really go on
Yeah,
when it comes to
it. I want to say, I'm glad they brought him back and they're using him correctly. So I'm kind of like, well, why not Elizabeth? I don't know.
Why not? Why not Elizabeth? She's got an empty nest now. She has time to fill.
Yes.
I was hoping she'd get on the airplane with Lucky.
Oh, funny.
I can't stand Elizabeth.
It's funny how that works, huh?
This will be fine. Don't worry about it. Just get on the plane. Enjoy your life, girl.
I would have timed it. I mean, it's a shame that they couldn't have. I mean, and maybe because Jonathan didn't know he was leaving until after they already committed to breaking her leg and sidelining her for a while. But it's like, oh, that would have been nice to like have you. That's when you could have taken a break and done your like real life vacation.
Yes.
Is when you and Lucky and Aiden take off on an adventure over the summer, and then we'll see you back in the fall doing maybe something. Yeah, because that's the nice thing about when somebody's off for a little while, you can bring it back and they can bring a storyline with them.
I agree. I totally agree with that, Frank. Any you two, Tami, Matt, anybody you think it's underrated? It could be.
I mean, for me, I guess I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't talk about everybody's favorite Silver Fox, and that's John New York.
Mac. That's why Frank loves some Mac Scorpio.
Come on, man. I mean, I know he's had his real life health issues, but even before that, notoriously underserved. For somebody that was so prevalent in the 90s and the early 2000s, like there is stuff he can do and still do. He has story. He could just do it.
He does. I agree with you. Yeah, he likes Ace and Silver Fox. Back to Matt and Tami Goveia. Anybody on any show that you watch, you feel is
It's tough because I'm such an easy to please person that it's hard for me to like sit there and go, man, I'm really missing this person and I wish they'd be there. Because when they show up, I'm like, awesome. And then they're not on and I'm not thinking about them because I'm enjoying the other stuff that's being offered.
okay.
Amy, no, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding.
No, I was just thinking about her
Well,
That's all
she
like
used to be Manlanders and stuff.
because Risa is
we don't
amazing.
mention Manlanders. We do not mention Manlanders.
Excuse me.
Risa is amazing.
great,
I would love for them to give her something.
Yeah, that just made me go back. I want to now spew chunks. You said Manlanders.
I always liked Wendy Shin on Days of Our Lives. She's not on it anymore, but I always wanted to see more out of her. I thought she could have done a lot more, and then they wrote her off with Rex.
But here's the thing, Matt. Your answer is totally legitimate. You're like, I watch who they give me is in front of me, and you go with that. And that's I'm sure a lot of people do the same thing. You're not I'm sure you're not alone at all. But for me, there are some actors I want to see more. Of course, Wally Kurth, but he's divided on 2 shows. He's only gonna get so much on each show.
Yeah, I'll have to be reminded that somebody hasn't been on. Like somebody will be like, when was the last time we saw Carly? Wasn't it last week? I'm like, oh yeah, she did miss 4 episodes. People will notice that stuff, and it'll pass by me entirely.
For me, it was Natalia when she showed up there at the Metro Court with drink in hand. I'm like, oh yeah,
You did say that. I'm like, oh, she's here
she's still around, isn't she?
Well, she's gone now. So, hi, Candace Mack will be on here tomorrow night. She's here in the chat, of course, with 14 people watching. Thank you guys. You mentioned Jennifer Bassey. That's another story too. Don't get me started on JJ York is wasted. John J. York is wasted. This is what GG says. Fabulous actor who's aged well and whose character was so layered and colorful, yet he is hardly ever seen on screen. There you go, Frank. You got a fan.
And do not forget when he stepped out of that Metro Court pool. Look at that.
And Homegirl said, "That's my man."
Yeah.
That's with her towel. That's my man. And I was like, "All righty." I was like, "Wow, okay." I'm like, "Wow." So that's very much like where Candace. We're talking to you tomorrow. Now you talk to the fans in the chat. I'll bring that up. That's tomorrow. Olivia, they call her Olivia. Another one. That's somebody. I don't know if I miss her, but it's my own. But here's the thing: there are people I just think that are just underrated. That I think they should just. I don't know. I feel like they can add to the canvas some more. Actually, I'll just say somebody who crossed over to another show, which I think they could get more tuned, is Esther from Y&R, when she was with Charlie on Bold and Beautiful. I was like, oh, well, she should go out to California for a second, and and have a storyline there. That could be cute. So, but of course we still have, well, she's not Heather anymore, but she was on Bold for a second. She came back as Pam on her lemon bars on Bold. So maybe she'll do both. I'm in his age group, but I'm not that in shape. I'm not even in his age group. I'm not that in shape at all. So yes. Next question, folks. We got another question. And that is, if you get rid of one soap trope, just one, what would it be? For me, it would be miscarriages. No more miscarriages. You get pregnant, you have the baby. That's it. No miscarriages. Not using baby mothers as incubators and whatever. I'm not into that at all. You have to have pregnancies to procreate the show, but I'm tired of miscarriages. That's one soap trope I'm done with. And these soaps have been really soapy this week. I mean, there's some soapy stuff going on this week.
But kidnapping, once they're out of the womb, they're fair game, James?
Oh, yeah, they're fine. Yeah, fine.
All right.
In the chat's answering. I'll read you guys stuff in the chat once the other people say their answers.
I'm kind of done with Amnesia for a while.
Well, remember, GH had 4 people at one point, or 3 people at one point.
Every time someone had an accident,
it was
like they were passing the amnesia card back and forth.
Yes.
You have amnesia. You have amnesia. You have amnesia. Yeah.
I'm done with that for a while.
She's done amnesia. Matt,
I think I am.
You think that's like, am I? 10th floor. Oh, 10th floor. Matt.
You are the father.
Oh, there's that. Yes.
I'm done with it. I know that it is the soap thing, but I'm done. I'm at the end of it because here in General Hospital is a great example for it. We're leaving the Geo storyline to jump back into what happened to Rocco and Charlotte. It's just, I mean, can we just know who our babies are and who our parents are just for a little while? Just for a little while. I was so concerned when TJ and Molly were trying to have a kid and also celebrating at the same time. I even told Taj Bello, "You're going to be the first Ashford with a kid who knows who their dad is." And then he ultimately didn't have a kid.
Nope, and he's gone. Um,
Yeah.
Frank Moran.
He's not gone as long as we remember him somewhere working in the halls of
Oh,
General.
that's right.
Right.
Well, see, Matt and Kat roam the halls. We don't roam the halls.
That's
We
true.
just outside. They're always on the third floor, 10th floor, whatever. We don't do that stuff on our show. So he may know where Taj. He may know where TJ is. So we don't know
They're
where.
on the other side of the hospital.
Oh,
That's where Charlotte and Bailey Lou is, and just everybody hanging out on in the other side.
and Bobby Warner from All My Children all those years ago. We have
Yeah.
people
Well,
Steve, Derek
actually,
David.
Grams is actually taking great care of all of them.
Oh, there you go, Grams. Yep.
For me, it's not necessarily a soap trope, but just an expression. Like I don't need to hear her say it's not my story to tell. Like oh boy, just no that why do we watch soaps? We don't watch soaps for real life. We watch soaps for people to be like gossipy and talking and
Yes,
sharing stuff when they're not supposed to be sharing stuff.
yes,
Yes. I don't even
yeah,
be able to give me this. It's not my story to tell, which is just such a just like pump
yes.
the brakes on any kind of fun in stories.
I agree with you.
Blab, people, blab.
Blab. I agree with you, Frank, on that one. Yes, it's crazy. In the chat, they're saying retconning long lost twins, coming back from the dead if you actually die on screen and have a funeral. um, Many agree with the no more amnesia. Um, let's see. Everything like storyline hints that go nowhere. Um,
Oh.
and yes, Bold and Beautiful needs to stop with the fatal illnesses. Oh my God. I agree with you on that one. Completely too many in one year. Um, and I will add, well, yeah, wait. Sorry, you gonna say something, Matt? I'm sorry, you gonna say something. Okay.
Oh, I was laughing at it, and nothing really to add. No, no, just know who your kids are.
So,
I'm good with even if they're dead, we saw them expire on camera, we saw them being lowered into the ground. I am still great with bringing them back from the dead if it's a good storyline.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's like that's yes, that's part of the fantastical elements of soaps. Like,
Totally.
yes,
Mhm.
give me just like the flimsiest excuse uh,
Yeah,
of why this is happening, and as long as it's a good story, you've got me.
Yeah.
digital brain download with great acting. I did have something to contribute. It was to the points of retcons and stories that don't go anywhere. I would say that's less of a trope and more just a circumstance of having 5 episodes a week. Sometimes something's just not going to go anywhere because it's a dud and is bad, and you're just not going to pursue it. Um, or retconning something that happened 30 years ago. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was 30
We
years
deal with that.
ago.
We deal with that in the Star Wars world. It's all kind of we do any kind of thing,
So
right?
sometimes you got to change something to make it work.
Yes, I don't have a problem again if it's a good story. If it makes sense to me, then I'm like, oh, okay. And also, there's sometimes when people are not on the show. To me, it's fair game to create whatever you want in between. I mean, like they're not on the show, so I'm like, so they came back and didn't say nothing. So who cares? She was a teenager, she had a baby. Like that's, I mean, why would she come back and talk about it? I mean, that's all. That's all. I'm okay with sometimes if they're off camera and it has not been established what they were doing. You can do a little something to make a storyline work here currently. But I
Mhm.
will say the one thing that is not a trope. I'm just tired of hearing it. And if you watch Young and the Restless, you agree with me. And I'm hoping this Friday it will end. Aristotle Dumas. Aristotle Dumas. If I don't hear that word, that
No,
name,
I don't want that to end because I take shots every time you say it.
oh my God in heaven. Billy Flynn, please hurry up. It is crazy.
Please.
It is crazy. They've said that name 1,000 times for the last 2 months. I'm over it. You're watching one, you know, I'm a wide our face. You know what I'm talking about. I made a whole video on it because I was over. I said his name wrong. I don't even care. Eric Alexander, Ariel, I don't care what his name is. I am so over that name. Oh my
Aristotle
God.
Dumas. But
Oh.
proud that they came up with it. They came up with a unique soapy name.
Well, they're doing the Count of Monte Cristo. That's what they're doing.
Ooh,
The
well,
book.
Aren't they fancy?
I'm just like, yeah, DG said there's nothing wrong with filling in what characters did while on screen. That's how we got Nicholas originally, right? She was all, remember, she was the cast of knives. We knew she was kidnapped. We had no idea what Laura did. When she came back with the fog on the pier, we had no idea what she did. Same with John Black or Marlena. Each of them came back on a pier after several years, and there they were. I mean, like, so it's okay to fill in those time periods. I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
feel like some like the retcons, like if it's a within like a couple of years retcon where they've that storylines have changed and so they've just pivoted. You're like, hold on, we know this is too recent. We know what the deal is. Then I feel like it's you know it's kind of a bummer. I mean, but the show must go on. But more forgiving of like a 30-year retcon if it's in service of a good story. When it's in service of like just a lame story, then you're like, why did we even change this?
I agree. I agree with that. Right. If it's a good story, I'll totally take it. Oh my God, yes. Again, with Laura and the whole Nicholas thing, that added so much, and the whole cast and I added so much to the canvas. And again, we know we just lost Drake, but John Black has been leading story for 30 years. I mean, there's just been so much in there. So I mean, you can't deny it. So the same. I mean, one of my other tropes I'm done with is the whole waffling back and forth, same triangles. We have that on Bold a lot with the Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor. It's like and we had it for a while with the Liam, Steffi and Hope. So I'm hoping that that's gonna be that's done. Because I'm just kind of tired of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once like Jax and Sunny weren't really competing for similar women for the same woman. Like I feel like that kind of really died on GH.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a thing, Frank. Remember, because I know on All My Children it was Brooke and Erica. They always had the same men, and Erica had them first, and she was like, "You always have my leftovers, whatever." Like it was kind of fun, and that happened all the way to towards the end. Then they got her with Adam, and that was another thing. I mean, another national treasure, David Canary, who played Adam on and Stewart on. Again, just whatever. But no, but I agree with you. I think it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's like just kind of, I don't know. What are you guys thinking?
That you covered it all.
Yeah.
But also like I guess it goes sort of retconning, but introducing new backstory, which I guess is sort of a retcon, because I'm just thinking like Elizabeth and
Mhm.
Finn's story. Introducing all this backstory with Liz and her parents. It
Yeah,
just was such like
it
uh,
just it really does just boil down into whether it works or it doesn't. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, then like why'd you bother?
yeah.
And it's pretty much that simple. I see people in the chat like they're talking about like Curtis's kid and Taggart and this, that, and the other thing. I really can't explain like what happened there other than they had an intention and said, well, never mind, and then gave the kid to somebody else. Then that's pretty much as stripped down as I can try to explain it logically, which is how I try to approach things.
Taggart's just with this flask somewhere.
For forever just drinking.
But here's the thing: is there how much logic should we apply? There's also a whole thing of dramatic license and kind of throwing out some belief because it's a soap opera. What do
Mhm.
you guys think about that? That kind of that push and pull of logic versus this is soap opera. It's gonna be a little crazy. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, that's also primetime shows too.
Whether it's soap operas or film or television, it's all based on the suspension of disbelief,
Mhm.
in some regard. I remember on Days when they did time
Time jump.
the
Yes,
time jump, and they did it really, really
I loved
well.
it. Loved
Mm.
it.
And it
Loved it.
didn't matter that this was completely insane. That they did it really well.
Right. We know Desperate Housewives did that too. They did
They
5 years.
did. They
They went
did.
5 and it worked. I mean, I don't know, but Days of Our Lives, they've never done it on daytime before. And literally, Homegirl's like, "What happened? You've been asleep for a year." And Jennifer's like, "What?" And then all of a sudden, so and so's with this person, that person with that person, their kids, and there's babies everywhere. But I loved it. I thought the way the storytelling of going back and forth worked for me.
Yeah,
Sorry, Frank.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like you can't necessarily pinpoint it to one thing. It's sort of you know, when you've got the suspension of disbelief, you have the larger than life characters, logic, you know, somewhere in that mix is that sweet spot that when they're all kind of coming and working together well, then you're like, yeah, this is great. Sure, I will buy anything you're telling me.
Yeah.
But when any of those things are kind of off kilter, then you're kind of like, that's when it'll take you out of the storyline and leave you more questioning it than enjoying it.
There's one story that I like to point to when it comes to something that was just completely off the wall stupid that absolutely worked for me every moment of the way. And that was the digital memory USB thing that General Hospital did with the twins who had swapped memories in patients 1 through 6, and all of Drew being downloaded into the body of Franco and all this kind of stuff. And it was just absolutely wackadoodle, something that would never ever happen in the real world, only happens in So Planned, which is what we call it on our show regularly. This isn't the real world. They all live in So Planned where this stuff happens. And I think it boils down again to, did it work for me or did it not? And that really, really worked for me, as stupid as it was. But I also recognized how dumb it was. And I was along for the ride.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that moment where I get enjoyment and frustration, where I see like what the potential could have been. Because that moment where Cameron's watching Franco sacrifice himself, great.
Literally
Oh my
sacrificing his
God,
life.
great scene.
Yeah.
Yes. Great scene. That whole stuff was great. But when you know, like, you know, we had what, Andre involved in there. We've got Kevin and Ryan
Yeah.
involved in it, and it just the shabbiness around it that just never really got developed or explored. Ugh, it just feels like, boy, there could have been something really great.
Yeah, there could have been way more in there. It did give me another one of my most favorite moments, and I was happy to be able to tell Finola Hughes about it. Name drop. And that's when it was revealed that Alex gave Anna the memory of giving birth to Peter so she would
Yeah.
take care of him, and then she didn't, UB word. Um, one of my favorite things that General Hospital has done.
All right. Well, you know, for me, I mean, I'm sorry, kids. I loved the original possession storyline of Marlena. The original one to me was everything.
I
I
gotta
ran
watch
to
it.
work. It was, I mean, it was the height of the 90s. It was, I used to show at nighttime, used to show commercials of Marlena speaking in tongues and flying everywhere. My friends were like, what's going on that show? Days were a lot. It was something that my best friend and I would run home from work and we'd get our food and watch Marlena and Kristen fight. I mean, it was, to me, so when they brought it back, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. They brought it back 30 years later. But then it was a little too long. And then you're the devil, and you're the devil. And it's like getting a little too much after a while. But I will always say I still really enjoy the presentation. I know it's a controversial storyline that to this day people are divided on. But I'm like you, Matt. I was in for the ride. I'm like, I got to ask Drake and Deidre all about it. And
Hmm.
like they said, it was a love story. That was the whole point. It was a love story. And that was so. Devil Doug was fun. When he said bitch to Marlene, like, okay, I got you, you bitch. I'm like, how old is he? And he's saying bitch. That was fun. Carly Buried Alive. Well, that was all classic days. But I'm just saying,
It sounds
I
to
was
me
with
like they
you.
did a sequel. It sounds to me like they did, like they had the original Marlena possession storyline and they said, oh, well, let's do a
Yeah.
sequel to this movie. But you can't just possess Marlena again in the sequel. You have to do more.
It's contagious. Now
I still think
everyone's
it's a little too
contagious.
much. But I was for the ride. Like Matt said, I was for the ride. There's some things I'm like, I'm for the ride. I just
Mhm.
want to see where this all goes.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
will, and I kind of enjoy it because it is ridiculous. It's like, I don't know if possessions really happen or not, but the whole point is it's ridiculous. But
I
yes,
mean,
it was campy too, GG. It was a little campy. That was the whole
I,
point.
I was all totally on board for the digital memory swap. I could have left Greenland as soon as they landed. I wasn't on board for the virus that was going to eat the world. Like I wasn't there for that. I wasn't on that ride. So,
And again, that's another one for me. It's like the potential for that story was great.
yeah.
With a lot it was a nice umbrella storyline, lots of different characters. And just the execution just
Mhm.
really falls short, as well as like, you know, you want to have those great, you know, 80s, 90s big soap opera adventure stories, and it's just tough to pull those off in a modern day budget. And so I feel
That's
like
what
some
it
of it
is. The
falls apart.
modern day budgets. Things are a little different. That pool, they got some good money for that pool set. They're gonna pull that shit out every year. Okay.
Every year. They're
And
very proud.
folks, I still stand that. I think all four of us could agree. that whole thing with Christina Fonta when it was spectacular. I will say, I remember when we saw it when it first came out, Frank and I both were like, what the? It was good.
Mhm.
I mean, poor Gio. But anyway, my whole thing was when she fell out, like, they really did work that out. So I mean, that
I
was
actually felt bad for Christina when she returned to the pool for the first time.
yeah. So yeah, me too a little bit. Yeah,
I actually had PTSD for her. It was
Mm.
I feel like GH, and I can't speak to the other subs, but boy, that was a nice unexpected shot in the arm to a
Mhm.
storyline.
yes.
And I feel like, boy, GH, you could be doing that on a more regular basis.
Mm.
And what was that like on a Thursday or a Wednesday? Like it was on a Friday. It was like, oh, okay, where did that come from?
I mean, you know, it's good when they end it and then they repeat it the next day.
In the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
To me, it was the moment that changed it. That was the moment that the writers took their arm and they swept the desk. And they said, Mulcahy's gone and other dude's gone. It's me, Elizabeth, and it's Chris Van Etten, and this is our story going forward. We're getting rid of this stupid baby. We're throwing Christina out a gosh darn window. We're making a statement with an exclamation point. We've started. That's kind of how I feel like if I were to reflect on that moment, that's what I see it like.
Well, also the pool was good for Ned, and I got to talk to Wally Crick about it. When I said we was skip like Nina, you're a tired bitch, your life's over, and they went to skip over there. Everybody goes, and he goes, was that too much? I go, yes, and we loved it. Like it was too much. He said he literally said he asked the producers, I think I want to skip over, like I want to get over there and tell on her, and then he had him trip over the towel and he hit his head. Speaking of amnesia, speaking of Tami and amnesia. So I thought that pool has been used for some really good stuff. So I'm like, go on, Frank. He's getting the most out of that whole that pool set. That's right.
Totally.
I mean, still my favorite is watching people have to squat in that pool to make it look like they're really in deep water. The best.
And then they hire people like Jens Austin Astrup or whatever his name is, who plays Kai, who's 8 feet tall.
Right.
Just like on his knees in that pool.
I don't Frank always mentions that. I'm like, leave it alone, Frank. The whole point, we know it's deep. We know it's deep. So we're making the most out of that set. They said, yeah, I thought Chrissy flying out the window was the ingenious way to end the surrogacy storyline that no one wanted. I know. The pool's right. I mean, here's the thing, folks. I know you guys you don't want to hear it, but Frank is under budget. He's taking care of business, and he added a pool. I mean, and they gave us a new set for the cardio wing, and also they revamped the whole Quartermain house. So I mean, he's doing something correct, folks, for you guys. I mean, I would certainly say it's a good set. And I want to say this week on Young and the Restless, the sets are good so far.
Oh
right?
my
Yeah,
gosh.
oh my god!
I literally want to decorate. I want to decorate my house with the train furniture.
Oh, I know. They have a train set.
That red couch.
Oh my god! Everything is just like, it is beautiful. That food looked good out there at that buffet. I want to eat it too.
Caviar. Hello.
I know. I know. It looked good. They had the champagne and everything. So why not spend some money too? Apparently, because this whole week is the whole Aristotle Dumas stuff. So yes, it's all happening. Hi, Chandra. Hi, Coach Chandra.
Hi, Chandra.
Gio pushing Ezra in. That was fun too. That was also fun. Okay, so I got another question, folks. So Tami, you're watching how many soaps right now? Current soaps right now?
3. I'm watching All But Days.
Okay.
And Beyond the Gates. I want to try. Just don't have the time.
Okay, Matt. What are you guys watching and covering?
We got 3. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, and Beyond the Gates.
And then Frank, what are you watching?
Just GH. I watched the first little bit of Beyond the Gates, but I mean, it was fine, but I just didn't have the time to keep up.
Yes, my favorite 2 soaps are Beyond the Gates and General Hospital. I really like Beyond the Gates. So that's at least my question for you guys is, of all the soaps you've ever watched, do you have a favorite? Not even the ones you cover. Like, we cover soaps, but are there any other ones that you've watched where you're like, well, for mine is Santa Barbara. Everybody knows that Santa Barbara is my favorite soap of all time. So, but for you guys, what are your favorite soaps? Any of your favorite soaps? Daytime soaps of all time.
I loved All My Children.
Nothing will ever be All My Children.
Wow.
All My Children.
Both of you guys. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's there was like in the 90s, I was deep into All My Children, like that.
Wow.
Yes.
I see people saying resurrect One Life to Live all the time, and I'm like, Frank Valentini's busy. You don't need to resurrect that one. Go grab yourself an All My Children.
Oh Oh my God, Matt! In the chat, they're saying "Why to Live." Why to Live so funny. That's what you just said. That.
See?
It's so funny.
I mean,
But I'll tell you.
I was an ABC girl.
Yeah.
So literally like from Ryan's Hope.
Yeah.
Then what after GH you had Capital or
Yeah, there was okay, so it was it was Edge of Night.
Edge of Night. Yeah, yeah. So I was always
Capital's
an
on that channel,
ABC
yeah.
girl. But there
Yeah.
was one
It was Loving.
Oh, there you go.
I know Loving. It was Ryan's Hope, Loving, All My Children Want to Live, GH, right, and then Edge of Night. That was all ABC for a while. Loving turned to The City for a couple of years. They killed everybody off, and then who was left over went to The City.
That was great. I mean, Jeremy getting like covered.
Yeah, Jeremy's All My Children. Yes, he was on there. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I did. That was good, and it turned out to be Gwyneth. She was the one who was killing everybody. She has Go Online is a great revelation scene. But it's so funny. People are saying, "Oh my God, they agree on All My Children." But I will tell you something, folks. I believe All My Children. No, actually, when it got canceled, actually, Want to Live was higher in the ratings. But both shows were not bad at all. They weren't like the lowest of all the ratings when they got canceled. They got Port Charles came later, of course.
They just wanted the time slot.
Yeah. That's it for the time slot.
That's what it came down to.
They were not bad in the ratings. They really weren't.
No, and I absolutely adored the last year of All My Children. That actually kind of brought me back into soap because I had been watching. I watched when I was a kid and a little bit in the summers, and then by the time I would graduate high school, got a job, all that kind of stuff, I wasn't dedicating any time to soaps. And then they were going to cancel All My Children, and it meant so much to me as a kid watching that show that I'm like, I'm going to give Erica Kane and Tad Martin and Stuart and Adam their last year. And so I watched it, and it reinvigorated why I enjoyed soaps, and it gave me a lot of love for it as an adult.
Well, Jacob Young as J.R. Chandler inspired. I mean, that was his role. He's done others. I hated him as Lucky. I hated his Lucky. I hated it. He won an Emmy for it. I hated it.
I mean, but the list of characters, man, and Babe and Crystal, JR, Tad and Dixie, Adam, Stewart, Brooke, even
David Hayward, one of the best characters
Hayward
on television. David Hayward.
Just come on over to General Hospital whenever you're ready. Come on, Frank. Not you, Frank Valentine.
Well, Frank Moran and I also love a good John McBain over at Why to Live.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Totally.
He was a man. Like, he was a man. And we know Erica Slezak is coming to General Hospital, folks. Very curious about who she's going to play.
Yeah.
Frank.
Right? No, very true. Yes.
I was like, why are they saying she looks going to be Monica? I was like, I had explained to Matt why we were thinking that. We were hoping that.
Tami, Matt, I know James and I have talked about this a lot, but since we're here, how would you feel if they recast Monica?
Oh, yeah. What do they think about that? Yeah, what do you think about that? We had a whole thing about show.
Why?
Says why. Okay.
Oh, she's got so much story.
She does, but I don't want a recast.
But because
it's like Jane Elliott.
Oh, but what if it's a great recast? What if it's a great recast? What if it's like John Ingalls, Edward Quartermain, or this new Michael as new Michael?
Good.
Maybe because it's still too fresh. The passing of Leslie, and it's just there have been recasts that I've been completely opposed to that they did it and they were fabulous. But right now, as you're asking me, no, I don't want to recast.
Interesting. Okay. Matt?
I would say that had she retired 2 weeks before her passing, absolutely. If she stepped away, like the original guy who played Edward, he retired from acting and stopped being Edward before they cast John Ingle. From my research, I wasn't there.
We're there? Okay.
I wasn't there. Given the fact that she had been Monica for 40 years, and she never left the role and had been contracted X amount of times and that sort of stuff, there's just nobody else that role really belongs to. There's nobody else that needs it. Nobody else that should have it.
Frank, we did a poll and it was almost half and half. So half, like almost like us. We were saying yes for Monica recast. You guys are saying no. So it's almost like that's most of the fans the same way. They were half and half. But yeah, still.
That's just how I feel about it. It has everything to do with longevity. If she was Monica for 2 years, then it would be a completely different conversation.
Okay. Very good. I like that.
I did want to say too, with favorite soap operas, whenever I did cheat on ABC, I liked As the World Turns.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Mention that.
Yeah, there was stories. At one point, there were 23 soap operas. The 26. Then there were 13. So that's kind of funny. So anyway, so that's what
we're going to get back up to 13.
How we get there, right? It'll be interesting. Well, Candace back. I mean, here's the thing. She mentions Jeannie Cooper from Catherine Chancellor. That to me, it's different. It's just funny because with Monica, they're doing what they did with Sally Spectra on Bold. She's off somewhere. She's kind of since a cabana boy. They did the actress died in real life, Donnie Connolly, but she's still alive. They actually named her granddaughter Sally Spectra, and now she's on Restless. But there's something where Monica is always so presently mentioned, and people miss the whole Monica Tracy stuff, Monica Jason stuff, Monica Michael stuff. That's probably where Frank and I sometimes come from. Like, well, we kind of interesting because they did recast her all a couple of times briefly when she was out for a couple of things. I'm not saying it was the best recast, but they did it. So I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, do you guys miss them? Sorry. Do you guys miss the Monica stuff, or do you miss Leslie Charleston doing that stuff?
For me, yeah. I mean, I feel like the show should honor Leslie and all the great work that she did for the show, but I also feel like the character also has a place within the canvas that I would like to see explored.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm sorry. One last thing, I'll give you your show back. I don't have a strong connection to Monica because my main General Hospital watching has been over the course of my podcasting career, and she has not been prominent over the last 5 or 6 years. The little bits of stuff that I watched in the 90s, yeah, she had tension with Alan and was a Quartermain, and Edward and Lila were there. But I was watching Lucky and Liz at the time. I didn't care about Monica. So I've never really had the strongest connection to Monica, and so I'm definitely missing that when it comes to like needing her on the show.
But I do wonder, and it's a good point, but I do also wonder, it is a personal preference thing because for me, no one else can play J.R. Ewing on Dallas. Like, nobody. It's Larry Hagman. But then they mentioned doing a movie with John Travolta playing J.R. Ewing. I thought that possibly could work maybe in a movie form. Maybe who says he can't play it? I mean, it's kind of like if they're actors, we accept recast like on plays and musicals and other mediums. I just wonder why maybe because it's every day, I guess. We get to know. I mean, I just wonder why it seems harder to do a recast.
Who plays Captain Kirk on Star Trek?
Chris Pine.
You know what I was trying to do.
I was like, there's something going on there. Frank knows
about Frank saw through what I was trying to do. Like William Shatner's Captain Kirk, but there's been 4 others. Like, nobody gives a crap though.
I'm saying, but the shows were successful, the movies were successful. I'm saying they didn't hurt the movies or make them not be successful.
They were very different.
Right. So you can't do that in a soap?
No, soaps have to be the same all the time. What are you talking about? Come on. I come to this thing every day.
Matt did. He knew what I was coming from. Me and Frank are trollmakers. Matt knows that. We're trollmakers. So that's like, Matt answered perfectly. Matt, you win, Matt. You answered perfectly. Me and Frank, you answer. You guys, you got it. We're trollmakers. That was a good one, Matt. That was a good one. Yes. But that's just, it's interesting and it's in all seriousness, in some other mediums, you're allowed to do that. But there are characters out there, and people do feel like you can't touch them. I know for me personally, it is a Larry Hagman thing. I miss Larry Hagman. So him as J.R. So I'm glad when the reboot came back, at least we got him for a season before he died in real life. So I was very happy about that. But I'm wondering, well, if they did recast with somebody really, originally it was going to be Robert Culp who was going to play J.R. Ewing at one point in real life. When he did the whole Who Shot J.R., they were like, we'll kill you off or just recast with somebody else. And then he came back. But it was about the whole thing. Like, well, could he have done a great job? He's a great actor. Could anybody else have taken it? I mean, I don't know. So I know for me, it might be personal. Because I just love Larry Hagman also so much. Well,
Like if they recast Stefano on Days.
So you can't with that one either. Is that funny? They did a whole Stefan O storyline with the son or whatever. And they made, what's his name? Think he was Stefano for a while. But
I think old Patchy got a fake eye that made him think he was Stefano at some point.
God. But you're right. There's only one Stefano. And that was because of Joseph Moscolo. I think you're right. I think sometimes it is the actor. So if maybe you guys are Leslie, you made a good point, Matt. I never thought about it before. There are folks who are just Leslie Charleston fans.
Yeah.
then maybe that's just like, no, you can't do it, I guess. I don't know.
For me, I'm always for the right if it works. So, if they wind up recasting and it's an excellent story and I'm totally there and we've got an amazing actor that's just melted into the role and I'm completely on board that this is Monica now and gosh, I miss Leslie, but this is good, then I'm going to sit on my podcast and enjoy it. And I'm not going to tell them they're wrong for it.
I'm not a name people like Luke Spencer, of course, Eric Braeden, Victor Newman. I mean, now you go, yes, they can't be recast. But Jack
Black.
Jack was recast. It was Terry Lester at first, and then it became Peter Bergman, who was Cliff Warner on All My Children. So I'm like, some recasts do work. I mean, I don't know. I mean, recasting is a hard thing. I think it's when soaps they're on every day, they have story. It must be tough, and I'm so glad people are liking Rory. They didn't do anything for him on Y&R, so I'm glad he's seamlessly. I think all four of us kind of agree. Seamlessly kind of came in and just that was it.
Yeah.
Is Chad who? Who's Chad? Chad what?
I just caught that. I was like, oh my god, I'm nice to you being shady. I love it. It must be our influence. Yes.
Every time.
Every time. No, I like right. No, right. But seriously, Rory came in and we're all like, okay, I buy it. Like, seriously, I mean, even the darker hair, everything. I was like, okay, I'm in. He has chemistry with everybody. I was like, it's just like that's how it should be most of the time, right? That's how it should be most of the time. But Joe Mascolo turned that wacky villain role into Shakespeare. He was an incredible actor. I agree. There were 3 Alan Spaldings, yes, on Guiding Light, yes. Recasting a character with good writing is a tough job, especially nowadays. It was a tough job. I just think we have some good casting directors. I think sometimes it's just they take or they don't. Some people just don't. I think some characters, you try it. Joan Collins couldn't do daytime. You thinking Joan Collins, she's Alexis, she's all this. They brought her on Guiding Light as Alexander Spalding, and it did not work. It fell flat. And she left. Back to England. Said, bye, bitches. Went back to England. And she's a great actress. So it's not nothing to do with her. I don't have anything to do with her. I don't know. Somebody just thinks that we've all watched enough shows with recasts. It's like, Robert Newman as Ashland when he came on Y&R. I was like, this is Josh from Guiding Light. I'm like, he was so good.
I need Martin Gray to bring his accent back because that was my thing that made him not Tad Martin.
Not Frank.
Bring all that back. Gone. Come on, Kentucky Fried Lawyer. I need you.
For me, it's like Nina being recast. The character's there, it's fine, but the recast has never really gelled with me. So, but the character's part of the canvas. So just
Nina specifically is an interesting example because Cynthia Watros, I'm a big fan of personally. I just adore her, mostly from Lost. Like I'm a big fan of Lost, and so
Libby.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Anyway, but Nina, the character herself, because she's so easily lifted out of General Hospital and it has no impact on anything that, I don't even know if that's a problem with the recast and just who Nina a person is right now. And maybe that feeds into the recast because Michelle Stafford is a very different actress than Cynthia Watros, and that forces you to write the character in a very different way. Things to think about, Frank.
They mentioned in the chat, Michelle Stafford is always Phyllis because she went back to her original role on Y&R.
Isn't it fun when somebody gets fired because that person wants to go back to their role?
Yeah, I would, folks. If you want to see the first interview at that time period, it was me because I'm friends with Michelle, and we talked about that. It wasn't some of digest. It was nobody. She came to me first after Buzz TV. We talked about that whole situation. I'm very proud of that. I was the first to get the scoop on that. Same with homegirl, my girl Krista Allen, when she took over the role of Taylor. She came on my show first before anywhere else because we're friends, and we talked about the whole thing about how Hunter Tyler didn't want to come back. She said no, and they had to recast the role. I mean, if they asked somebody to want. And Gia Antonioni had other stuff going on. She was commuting also. Her family's in New Jersey, and after a while, it gets tough. After a while, you don't understand. I understand the whole commuting thing and going back. I'm like, that's not flying is not fun, folks. All the time, it's not fun. And going to weekends and red eyes and stuff. So it gets tiring after a while. It's not glamorous at all. Folks, I get it. So I totally get it. So yeah, so We won't mention Nixon Falls, folks. Don't worry. That's Frank's favorite. Nixon Falls.
Oh man. Whoa. What a rough time that
Oh,
was.
I thought that was a rootin' tootin' good time. Huh.
Yeah. Everybody put your cowboy hats on. Let's enjoy.
Tammy, someone in the chat goes, James, what do you think about Rebecca Budig?
We're not going to talk about it.
We're not. No, we can't. Sorry, Tom, we can't.
The woman who could just never stay.
Right.
It's
someone
like,
right now, miscast.
is she really?
Yes.
I had no. Why would they? Why? Why bother? She's going to quit. She's going to quit.
Yeah. No, I'm like. So anyway, so Tommy, we'll be here on Sunday. We have to mention her because she's on this week, so we'll have to mention her. You can hear, but as an actress, I like her. She's fine as an actress.
That's not the issue.
Yeah, we love her. We love her as an actress. Hayden Barnes loved her. You know, all the
she's greenly. She's always gonna be greenly.
All my children. All my children. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I love that, of course. If you so we're gonna start wrapping this up. This was good. This was a good little hour and a half of fun. I want to do this. Thank you guys for joining me on this. Let's see what question I want to ask you guys.
I thought we were going for at least 4 hours.
Buckle up, kids. Just have a seat. We'll be here for a while. I just want to say, okay, so here's a good question for you guys. Because see, I hired Frank. I brought Frank into this, so it's my fault. But the other two, you guys came into this on your own. I guess Tony found you, Tammy. Tony Moore found you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Matt, because you're the mother. Okay. You've been doing these soap podcasts now for your allotted times and all this stuff now. If someone said to you, I want to do a video-based commentary show on soaps, what would you tell them?
Don't. Stay far away.
But I'd warn them just of everything. Say, okay, just know any opinion show you do, these are things that might happen.
I'm totally kidding. I would absolutely encourage them to have a great time and speak their minds. And if somebody has something to say to them, they don't got to listen to your crap. There's a lot other out there.
I mean, I guess if you've seen the movie Billy Madison, when he goes back to the fourth grade because he's had a hard time in high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay here. Don't ever grow up.
That's fair.
This adulting thing is like totally overrated. I'm like, ugh. I want to go back in time. Candace is all do it. Okay.
I mean, I think anybody. I mean, look at all of us. I mean, we're just fans when it all comes down to it of these particular shows. So we're no better than anybody else in terms of like our opinions matter more or should carry more weight or anything like that. We're just people that genuinely love these stories, these characters, these shows, and enjoy talking about them, poking fun, celebrating them. I think if anybody that wanted to do that, just be true to yourself. Be the best you, because I mean, there's always don't try to be anybody else. Just people are going to come to you when they see something authentic. So just be that.
I agree with that completely.
And I would also encourage, and this is a silly thing, but also very important at the same time. I would encourage them to find that hook that separates them out from the rest of us. Mine is my mom. You guys would not be talking to me if I wasn't podcasting with my mom. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because you wouldn't have discovered it. It wouldn't have been out there. People wouldn't have followed. It wouldn't have trended at a certain point. I wouldn't have had someone I'm not going to mention because James Lott Jr. doesn't like them retweet something for me that got a lot of attention that we hadn't had before. So find your hook. Find what it is that makes you different, whether it's being the goody two-shoes or you're talking to your mom or you drop an F-bomb like Dominic Zamprogna every other word. Find your hook. Find your hook.
I like that. I like both those advices. Tami Goveia, you've been doing it now for about 8-9 years. What are your thoughts on this?
So the question is, somebody approached the three of us.
Tammy, I think I would go on our podcast.
I don't think I would. Not that I wouldn't encourage others. I agree with the gentleman. Like, absolutely. If you have an idea or a hook and you want to do it, the more shows, the merrier. There's plenty of space and room for more shows. But for me personally, um, it's a full-time commitment. That's a full-time commitment. So yeah, I don't think I would.
Yeah, it's funny. I go back and forth. People come to me for
I'm
advice all the
perfectly
time.
happy with the diversity that we have because we get to do the recaps, we get to do, the red carpets. Like we've got lots of fun, different things that satisfies me as a creative.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that people should know it's not. I mean, if you want success in it, you got to do it every week. You got to do it all. You gotta do it.
Consistency is the
And,
keyest
and the
thing.
soap opera world, business-wise, is not an easy wave to ride at all.
I've been doing podcasting for 6 years, and the only money I've made off of it is what has been given to me by a listener. There's
Takes a while.
there's definite don't you're not going to chase your fortune, that's for sure. Not exclusively on soap commentary alone, not until Michael Fairman's looking to be replaced.
True. I mean, and even James will be the first one to tell you just the challenges of even being for GH alone, 10 years, thinking like, hey, yes, we've kind of, been here, we've shown what we can do. It should be easy to be able to talk to people associated with the show, and it is not.
That's across the board. There's these soap people are tight.
I've had so much more luck talking directly to the people when I run into them than trying to go through any sort of official channel.
I know. But you'll see there's not a lot of interviews out there because the PR is so tight. They'll do some other digest, of course. That's like the Bible. They'll do that. But you won't see a lot of people on a lot of other shows, not always. They just it's a lot of hard work. But the soap community, like you guys said as we end this, though you said earlier, the actual community itself is very nice. Most of them are very nice and very humble. And it's a job. People want to work. They want to work. They want to promote their work. They like talking about their work. We noticed. Many of them are just like, you really want to talk to us? Many of them are just like, surprised. You really want your show? I'm like, yeah, come on the show. I have fans for you. That's it. That's why they're doing fan events. They're doing a lot of stuff now out there. And I really do want people. I want more of you guys out there. Even if you can't be at a physical event, go to some of the Zooms. I think getting to meet these people, I think, will help change some of your outlooks. I think, and not just be so. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen just from people telling me, "Oh my God, I was like, I love that." I'm like, yeah, they're regular folks doing a job.
They understand when they're in a ridiculous storyline,
Oh,
I
Right,
totally agree.
right.
and so they understand just as much as you do, like how nuts something could be,
Oh
and how
yeah,
like, that they have to justify some really left field choice. Uh,
yes. Yes. So you'll start applauding them almost like, wow, you did that. Okay. Now it's like they say, like one day they're one, but next day there's something else. I mean, that happens sometimes. Some of these shows film up to 8 episodes a week, folks. Just want you to know that. It's a lot of just bam, 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 bam. They get one choice and that's it. And they get go out there. And not everybody can do it. I don't know if I can do it. It's hard. I'm like, it's tough. So I try to give a lot of leeway in my responses to people. There are some folks you guys already know who know me know that I will never like and I will never support. That's fine. But for most of the community, I love it. And Frank and I, we've done it for such a long time. We were lucky we had AfterBuzz TV. That kind of helped the three of us and Tami too get to a larger audience. They were the after show kings. They started it. So I was very fortunate to get out there and get associated. Thanks to Tony Moore, Mark J. Freeman, to get in that. I think. But I admire all the folks who didn't have that head start. I mean, you started on your own. You're build. I'm watching you guys build your platforms. It's fun to watch. I think it's fun to watch.
I mean, I feel like anything, it's you want to do it with people that you enjoy and you can be a good team with, because that helps with the consistency. Yeah, if you can rely on your partner or however many people you might be doing the show with, that they'll be with you, week in and week out doing this stuff. It makes it a much more fun, rewarding experience.
And I would tell people also, have fun.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it. It's all part of I'm here to entertain. So I mean that's how I look at it. I learned that also from AfterBuzz TV. Like when I used to work with Cameron Lewis, it was like yeah, we're doing Shark Tank or we're doing Under the Dome, or doing, and no matter what show it was like, but they can turn the TV, they can change their tablet in 5 seconds. You're here to entertain. Me, Tammy, and Amanda say the craziest shit on our shows. We talk about how hot everybody is, and I mean that's half the fun, because the chat's laughing, everybody's having a good time. Like you're joining us at Sunday morning and you know this too, Matt. Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for many of you. You're joining us. It's about soap operas.
Yeah.
By the time you
We're
get to Frank, it's
wiping
like
the sleep out of the corner of our
right.
eyes
He's
and
eating
like,
McDonald's
fixing his bad hair and like, good
Yeah.
morning, everybody.
Yes. By the time I get to Frank, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So like, but us early birds, I'm like, you're taking your time to watch us. I'm going to use some entertainment. I'm going to say crazy shit and give you entertainment. And I know on my shows, I cry on my shows, I laugh on my shows, I do everything. And we're very passionate, on our shows. We do. And Frank hates everything, and that's what we just do. We talk about all the time.
True.
And that's our secret sauce, Frank. You're a secret sauce.
That's true. There you go. I live to hate.
Live to hate.
It's written all over your face. You're such a hater, Frank.
That laughing, jovial, happy face.
Thank you guys for being on the show, our first show.
This is it. I've got so much more to say, James.
What are the other questions you have written down?
50 more questions for us.
I got lots of more questions. But I'm like, folks, it's close to 9 o'clock, and I'm tired. So, I'm going to end the show. I'm ending the show. Bye, everybody. See you next time now. Matt.
Yes.
Please tell people all the shows that you do for soaps and when they come on. Go.
Okay. You can find us on the 10th Floor Podcast channel. Just Google it or search in your YouTube for 10th Floor. And we do Days for Dummies. We do Beyond the Gates Unlocked and the 10th Floor Podcast, which is about General Hospital. So Days of Our Lives, Beyond the Gates, and General Hospital. You can find it all Sunday, pretty much. Originally, we started at 9 a.m. for Days of Our Lives, but I moved and it's harder to podcast at that hour. So now we have combined our Days of Our Lives and Beyond the Gates chatter into a 1:30 show for you guys to enjoy until I can figure out a different circumstance.
Oh, wow. Okay. He said unlocked. Body Gates unlocked.
Unlocked. And we are unlocking nothing for you. We have no ties to them whatsoever. We have no idea what's going on. But they're unlocked for you.
Tami Goveia has some other shows on my network that are really great, and I want you to tell them what they are, Mrs. Goveia.
Well, we've got Voices of Daytime, it's felt so good to resurrect that podcast. And it's felt so good to have folks in studio. I think that's what I miss most from working at AfterBuzz, was being in studio with people, whether it was with guests or just with, you guys. And then there's some like The Classic, which is also on JLJ Media, and that's all about classic Hollywood. You can find those on JLJ Media on the YouTube.
And she did is for JLJ Media history. She did the first live show last Friday of a show that didn't involve me.
Yeah.
So it went very well. So thanks to Flobo Boys, who is your producer, and we friend of the channel.
It was great. It was fun.
Yeah, you guys did a good job. Edward Parati, I'll make sure you mention his name because he's part of JLJ Media now, kind of. He's part of it too.
Is.
So that was really great doing that. Frank Moran, what do you do on our channel? What do you do?
I usually bring the room down.
Talent.
Yeah, I talked with James about some Star Wars stuff, some superhero stuff. Occasionally James will throw me a bone for a little piece of an audio drama. Say a line or two of,
All three of you guys.
Yeah, some hobo, hobo number 3.
You're a mayor in a couple of cities, a couple of shows.
Yeah. So I live for JLJ Media. That's there you go. I'm getting a face tattoo of it. So
right here.
Right. That's right. Before you even ask, like Tami, Matt, of the stuff that you watch, how would you rank them right now? Just in terms of which ones from top to bottom in terms of enjoyment.
The soap operas?
Yeah.
Well, Genius is number 1 for me.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
That's it.
Okay. Let me make sure I understand the question properly. Is this the ranking of my
It's a
personal
trick question,
enjoyment,
Matt.
or is this a ranking of which one do I think is made the best?
Personal enjoyment.
Okay, then General Hospital Days of Our Lives Beyond the Gates.
Mm.
GHYNR. And I don't even watch Beyond the Gates. I'm going to go Beyond the Gates and then bold.
Wow.
And for me, of course, it's GH, Beyond the Gates. Right. And YNR and Bold go back and forth. There's times when I hate Bold so much. There are times I hate YNR so much. They go back and forth. But right now, it's GH first and Beyond the Gates, I would say. Even though I hate the name the Articulates. They should have been like the Sunflowers or the. So I'm like, Articulates. Oh my God. It's another name I want to hear again either.
It sounds like a show choir.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Right. I was like, I'm just not a fan of that name.
A cappella group.
Yeah. Like Articulates. What?
And they enunciate really well when they sing.
Yes, literally she does. Tamara Tooney does. They do enunciated every syllable. I'm like, yes, on Ken's back. He needs to save some questions for us tomorrow night. Oh my God, she started. I told you, she's starting already. She's starting already.
You think James can't think of new questions?
Right? Come on.
Oh, I'm James Lott Jr. And that's how I ended. I am James Lott Jr.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like inside the actor studio. It's just always the same.
My cards are blue. My cards are blue because of
They're invisible right now, James.
Yeah.
But they're blue.
Okay.
Just like James Lipton's worst. Yes, he was one of my idols. He been Larry King. So big and Eric Braden said it on the first of my South. He goes, James, you're the best interview since Larry King. He said it on camera. I have it in my reel.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I almost cried. I almost fainted and cried. But I just because I was in front of Eric Braden. I'm like, thank you, sir. Yeah. So I was. It's in my hosting reel. Folks, thank you so much. You can find me everywhere James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. and also social media platforms. And on TikTok, I'm the bread guy. So check me out there. Folks, tomorrow night, it's Candace Mack who's in the chat. And the lovely ladies from GH Sunday Shift, Tanya and Tracy, they've been on our show once before. So now we have these three talking about all kinds of soapy goodness. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern on Daytime Today. Daytime Today is on Facebook. It's on X. And it's also on Instagram. So follow there too. Support the soap operas.
We've set the bar high. Good luck, everybody.